Good morning. Day 150. Nice round number. I've mentioned several times that the milestones tend to come faster and faster and faster. I think it was yesterday I passed the point at which I have 265.5 miles to go. That is, I've completed 90% of the trail. I have 10% to go. And this may sound like, wow, it's almost done. It doesn't feel that way to me. I mean, psychologically. Very interesting. Feels like 10%. Wow, I got a long ways to go yet. I should be at 95%. I should be at 98% done. You know, I'm just on the home stretch here. It's sort of a psychological mind trick. And I have to say, in all honesty, I just kind of want it done. That may come as something of a surprise to many of you. You know, I'm out here enjoying this long, epic trail. But I just kind of want it done. And this is actually not surprising to me. I've experienced this before. When I was on the Continental Divide Trail, pretty much when I got to Montana, there's big cougar tracks there. Very clear. Right in the road. Anyway, back to Montana. When I got to Montana, I had 600 miles to go or something like that. And I was just focused on getting it done. Didn't take a 0 day after Bozeman. I was worried that I was going to get weathered out and wouldn't be able to complete Glacier. 4 years ago, when I had the dual through hike, I got off at Truckee, went up to Washington, did Washington, came back, had from Truckee, all of Northern California, all of Oregon to do. 1,000 miles. And it was just daunting. I just wanted it done. And I remember thinking to myself, in these little fantasies that you have when you're through hiking like this, that if there were some sort of like escalator, walking sidewalk, you know, moving sidewalk all the way to Cascade Locks, I would get on it. I just wanted it done. And that's sort of the stage that I'm at now. Weather's cold, but not bitter cold. I saw there was somebody put out a water cache. The water bottles were frozen at the cache. The water bottles at my tent last night were not. This is the PCT. Obviously a lot of erosion. For the past few days, I've been thinking about the PCTA and how it differs from the Appalachian Trail Conservancy, originally called the Appalachian Trail Conference. When the AT was built, it was really the product of one man's organizational skills, Myron Avery. And what he did is he went up and down the East Coast meeting with existing outdoors and hiking clubs, and where they didn't exist, organizing others at the local level, such that there's an unbroken series of these hiking clubs, these Appalachian Trail clubs, up and down the East Coast. I belong to the Potomac Appalachian Trail Club. I don't even know where the trail goes here in this mess. Might go off. I do see a sign up there. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So he organized these clubs, self-financing, self-organizing, and they maintain the trail. They build new trail. They build erosion control, water bars, switchbacks, etc. into the existing trail. Make it better. I don't think that exists at all out here on the Pacific Crest Trail. I don't believe there are any local trail clubs which have signed up to maintain the trail. My local club in Northern Virginia, but also in Maryland, and I think even into Pennsylvania, it's called the Potomac Appalachian Trail Club. I think it's the best of all the trail clubs, but I'm a little biased. And the club maintains hundreds of miles of the AT. Not just that, they build and maintain shelters. They build and maintain privies. Almost every shelter has an associated, typically composting privy these days. And someone has volunteered from the club to go out and maintain those privies. Typically what happens is they're like 2-station privies these days. So they will move the platform over to a different above ground receptacle area. And then leave it for a year. And after it is composted for a year, it's just like dirt. I mean, I've talked to many of these maintainers, and there's nothing further that needs to be done to it other than rake it out on the forest floor, and of course, pluck out whatever cannot be biodegradable. Some people always don't get the memo. Some people don't get the memo. But it's relatively straightforward. But here's my point. Once again, I'm standing on this really eroded area. There are two organizational models here. One, the ATC has its affiliate local organizations, and they are responsible for 75 miles, 350 miles of the AT. Patsy, I want to say, in addition to the hundreds of miles of the actual AT, has like 3 or 4 times the number of models on other trails in the area, including what's colloquially called Big Blue, this blue blaze, which swings out from the Shenandoah Park way out into West Virginia, different mountain range, not on the Blue Ridge at all, out into the Alleghenies, through West Virginia, southwest Pennsylvania, rejoining the AT proper, south central Pennsylvania. Patsy maintains miles of trail at the Wolf Trap Farm Park, a national park. I maintained, before I started hiking in earnest, and can't do it properly anymore, a few miles of local county trail that I actually train on when I'm at home. And my duties consisted mostly of picking up garbage. But the person who kind of showed me the ropes told me I had to watch out for things like overhanging branches and needed to be able to trim those back. In recent days, I've been going through these briars, and they've just been scratching me. I mean, there's no way to get through without just sort of muscling through and getting, my clothes scratched, my pack scratched, my skin scratched. And here's the point. I don't think there's any local club anywhere. I don't know, maybe the Mountaineers do something. And I think the PCTA tries to itself organize local volunteers. It's not that it needs to be done by volunteers. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. But they're trying to do that centrally. And it would work much better, I think, if they use the ATC model of having local affiliate clubs take charge of their local area. I have to say also, and this is sort of an intangible, it feels out here and also in the Rockies, the trail maintenance is necessarily a government function. Government should be doing that. That's national forest land. I've had a couple of people tell me, well, you shouldn't expect that. That's national forest land. As if local volunteers can't maintain it. And that's simply not true. So that's what's been on my mind the last few days. I think the PCTA would do better if they organized fewer maintenance events and instead had their regional officers focus on organizing local clubs, self-financing, self-sustaining, that would take on the responsibility in their area. Can be done. There's a whole lot less maintenance that needs to be done here than there is on the east, in the sense that there are no shelters being maintained, no privies being maintained, that kind of thing. It should be relatively straightforward and easy. I don't know. Different attitude out here in the West, I think. Maybe a little too much Marlboro Man. Well, I'm out on this ridge and I'm looking down. That's actually Palm Springs there. And I can see the airport runways, I think right there. And this is the white, this might be Mission Creek going down. And now, well, actually it has just disappeared. I am in the Mission Creek and you can see, the riverbed here. I was walking by the water, crossed it, just a little brook, but now it's disappeared. It's all underground, I guess. I'm sure it'll reappear. I certainly hope so, because that's going to be my drinking water. And I followed this for a few miles, I think. And the comments in the Far Out Guide are kind of, there really isn't a trail. You just sort of find your best way. And some of the areas are kind of blocked, but we'll see how it goes. Where I'm walking right now is just this loose gravel, which is okay. It's not, you don't go through it very fast. And, there's tripping hazard and sliding out. It's all very loose. So, some of the water doesn't look very good, but it's now emerging, only to disappear 20 yards downstream. Okay, that's the way it is.